from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, and it says together, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Let's say that one more time with faith now. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." But thanks be to God, He said Brock of Pokemon. Now I know 99% of you don't know who that person is, but and you don't watch that. But it's a cartoon. His name is Brock in Pokemon. And I asked my son, "Why does Brock remind you of me?" And he says, "Because like Brock, you set goals and you don't give up." And I nodded my head, and I said, "Thank you. Thank you." And he also said, because he's chinky-eyed. No, because he said because he's a good mentor. But you know, the reason why I bring you every Sunday, not only to bring you closer to God, not only to bless you, but I want to teach you how to have dreams. How many of you believe that God has a purpose for your life? You believe in that? You're not an accident. You're not a blob that came out from the universe, that just came from a mist, and then you suddenly appeared. You believe that when God created you, He had an intention, He had a goal, He had a purpose for your life. Everybody say that. God has a purpose for my life. Do you want to know your purpose? Brothers and sisters, I'm a guy who likes to simplify things. When I teach, I simplify it to the barest minimum because I believe that's where the secret of success is. When you simplify things. If you want to discover your purpose in life, you do not have to read 103 books. You don't have to attend another 300 seminars. You don't have to go on top of a mountain and meditate in lotus position, meditating for the next 10 years, trying to think of how and what is your purpose in life. You don't have to do that. Ask me, how do I know my purpose in life? Just 2 simple questions. That's all. 2 simple questions. Ask yourself this. Number 1, what are my core gifts? And number 2, what is my passion in life? That's it. Brother Bo, napakasimple naman yan. I think that's too simple. No, it's not. When God created you, He put core gifts in you, and it's for the purpose. You know, and when He created you with a passion to do something, let me tell you my story. I'm sure I've shared this already with you before. When I was a kid, when my teachers would teach in school and in the classroom, you'd see me writing down furiously in my notebook. I'd be just, my teacher would be there teaching, and I'd be there in my notebook, buried my face in my notebook. But I'm not taking down notes. I'm drawing. Now, some of you who have who remember when you were kids, or maybe you'd remember yourself, or maybe you'd remember your classmates doing that. I would draw and draw and draw. I'd draw Superman, I'd draw Aquaman, I'd draw the Flash, and then when I hit puberty, I drew Wonder Woman, and I drew and drew, and you know what happened? After a while, I began to invent my own superhero. He was called Super Kid. And he was someone who knew Kung Fu and Judo. I wrote the whole story in my mind. And I wrote it down. It was my own comic book. And you know what? I remember, it was my secret identity. Like I was the one. I was Super Kid, And it was fun just being able to do that as a kid. Well, brothers and sisters, I want you to know that was my core gift. And to this day, I still draw. But here's the difference. The difference is I no longer use my pencil and my paper to draw. Now I use my words, my adjectives, my adverbs, and my verbs, and my sentences, and my paragraphs to draw pictures in your mind. Every time I write and every time I speak and preach to you, people ask me that question, Brother Bo, I want to preach like you. Brother Bo, I want to write like you. What should I do? When you write a book, people like it. And when you preach and people listen, they're listening to you. Why? And I tell them why. Because when I preach and when I write, I still draw pictures. I still draw pictures in your mind. And when I preach, you know what I'm saying? When I preach, you see what the story I'm sharing. You know, my training was in the drawing. It was a core gift. You see what I'm saying? Not only that, I asked myself, what's my passion? Say that with me. Passion. What is your passion? What is the thing that you do that when you do it, you're alive? You know what? Last night, I had fever. I had fever in my body. It was high fever. And you know, on the back of my mind, as I was lying down on the couch of my home with fever, my body racked with fever, I said to myself, how can I preach tomorrow morning? You know, maybe I need to call up another preacher. But then, passion took over.
Thank you so much for your monthly tithes and love offering to the Rigma family, without which this broadcast won't be possible. We know that God will reward you abundantly for your generosity. God bless you.